So coming to a comfortable seat, use a blanket underneath your sitting bones if you wish. And just start to arrive here this morning on your mat. Tuning into the body, tuning into your energy levels, just noticing how you feel. Excuse me. Allow the shoulders to roll down the spine as you lift your heart a little with each breath. Allowing the eyes to be nice and low in their gaze, or maybe you'd like to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And then just have a little wriggle, maybe sideways, sit bone to sit bone, and just a good wriggle out of the shoulders to get a little bit more comfy. Sometimes we come to practice and we feel a little bit fidgety, a little bit restless. It's hard to get into that space. So if that's you this morning, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just take your time, take all the movements and wriggles that you need, and hopefully you'll find a bit of stillness in body and mind. Just starting to notice our breath. Allow the breath to travel deep down into the area of the sitting bones to root you. Allow at the same time the breath to give you this sense of lifting, this lightness, this liberation in the heart space. Allowing the breath to become a little deeper, a little more nourishing, a little more resonant. We'll take a couple of rounds of Viloma Pranayama. We've done this a few times before, very simply just breathing into areas of the body a couple of times and then all together a couple of times. So to start with, clear your breath. Inhale and exhale through the mouth with a sigh. And then inhale just to this top part of the chest, spreading the collarbones wide. Holding briefly and then exhaling. And then into the belly, let the belly expand, diaphragm moves down as we take a deep inhale. Holding briefly and then exhaling. This time into the sides of the rib cage. Inhaling, feel the rib cage expand out to the sides. Keep everything nice and soft. Holding here for a moment. And then exhaling. Final area is up top at the back between the two shoulder blades. So inhaling to that space, broaden across the upper back. Hold briefly and exhale when you're ready. One more time, each area. Top of the chest, inhale. Exhale. Into the belly, inhale. Exhale. Into the sides of the ribcage. And the upper back. This time, breathing into all the areas. Let's start at the top, a quarter breath. Inhale. Hold here. Second quarter into the belly. Third quarter into the ribcage. And the final quarter into the upper back. And then hold for as long as you can. Comfortably keep the body soft. Sometimes when we're holding the breath, the body likes to tense up and then join in. See if you can stay soft and relax. Maybe even introduce a little smile asana onto your face. And exhale when you're ready. Squeezing the breath out, really push the breath out. Get everything stale and old out of the lungs, and then hold that exhale for just a brief moment. Take a couple of normal breaths between rounds whilst everyone gets back to the same space. And we'll take that one more time. Quarter breath, inhale to the top. Second quarter to the belly. Third quarter, sides of the ribcage. And finally, the upper back between the shoulder blades. Holding here for as long as feels comfortable. Again, nice soft body, unclenching the teeth. And when you're ready, smoothly and fully exhaling. Squeeze the breath out. Hold the exhalation. And then continue to breathe. And let's just linger here in the afterglow of our very simple pranayama. Maybe you feel a little temperature difference in the body. Maybe you feel a little more clear in the pathways of the breath, the throat, the lungs. Maybe you feel a little bit more open and sitting a little bit taller. Very gently start to open your eyes, keeping the gaze low. We're just going to do a little bit of arm circling here. So if you'd like to cross your legs the other way, you're very welcome to. Otherwise, stay as you are if you're comfortable. Fingertips beside you, inhaling, reaching the arms up, and then pressing through the center firmly. Hands come into the heart center, shoulders stay relaxed, elbows the same height as the heels of the hands. Releasing, inhale again, wide circle, reaching the arms up, palms meeting at the top, and pushing through center. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, opening up the chest, arms go back and up, palms press. Twice more in your own breath time. Staying here with your hands in Anjali Mudra. Make sure the elbows are the same height as the heels of the hands, and then push over to the right side. We're not twisting the body, we're just pushing the hands over to get the sensation of stretch here down the front of the arm. And through center, slowly over to the other side. Keep breathing. And come back to center and release. Let's release the legs, bring the mat in front of us. Bending your knees as much as you need to in order to keep the feet flat. So not rolling out to the side, but flat, all 4 corners grounded. Try to keep them that way. Knees gently pushing in as much as possible, hands down. Lift your heart and slowly crab walk your way forwards to come into a forward fold. You won't get very deep in this one, so just take your time. Keep the heart lifting, shoulders relaxed, and the head nice and heavy. Gentle squeeze of the knees to the midline once more. And slowly walk your way back up, release, take the legs flat, a little bit wider. Keep the thighs rolling in, make sure that you're comfortable and you're not rolling backwards. Toes pointing towards you, hands down again, lift the heart, and then walk your hands forwards again. You may come a little further this time, you might not, that's fine too. Take your time. Shoulders stay relaxed, heart lifting, nice long spine. Your spine should be as long and flat in the back as possible. As soon as you lose that and you start to round in the upper back, dial back and rise a little higher. And again, rising back up, fingertips behind you, pressing into the mat, squeeze the arms, lift the heart. And release. Hands under knees, guide them together, take a couple of windshield wipers from side to side. And we'll make our way into tabletop. So from here, you know the drill, tabletop, hands underneath shoulders, fingers spread super wide, nice and supportive. You want to have as much platform as possible here. And then your knees under your hips. Engage your core so that your belly isn't dropping, pulling the lower back down. We want to keep that spine nice and long. From here, we're going to extend the right leg out and push into the heels. So pushing that heel away by pressing into the hands, getting a little bit of hamstring and calf muscle stretch here. Keep the core engaging. And then very slowly pushing off the toes, rocking forwards and back. Forwards and back. Take that a couple more times. And we'll meet back in our center. From here, we're going to flatten that foot and then pivot on the knee to turn the foot out and bring it behind us and lift up the right arm. From here, pushing the hips forwards, pushing the heart forwards, really opening that front line of the body. Breathing here, pressing into that left hand to find a little bit more space. Make sure that these toes are pointing forwards. One more breath here. And exhale the hand down. From here, we're going to pivot that knee back in, bring the foot back behind us, and then take this right leg out to the side. So it's in line with your knee. I'm just going to face you so you can see. So right leg is out. Make sure knee and heel are in line. Your hips are above this knee here, okay? From here, press into the right hand. Lift the left arm up, open the chest, and exhale, sliding onto that right side, bending into the elbow a touch. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, coming under. Inhaling up. And exhale under. Let's take that one more time. And we'll meet back in center, hand comes down. From here, shuffle that leg out the way so you've got a little bit more space here, and then either stay with quite an intense stretch between the legs, or you can come down onto your forearms. Use a brick if you'd like to. Make sure you're not sinking forwards or leaning back the way either. So nice and heavy here, nice and controlled. Make sure that your left knee is happy and that right foot is still grounded and pointing forwards. Long, steady breaths. And slowly, gently, bring your way back up. Shuffle that leg back in and bring it behind you once more. From here, we're going to add on a little bit more. Bring that leg up and then bend the knee. If you wish, reach back with your left hand to catch your foot. Push the foot into the hand rather than pulling the foot to your glutes here. And then lift that knee high, lift the shoulder and open across the chest. You might feel very wobbly here. Again, spread your hand nice and wide. Create that foundation. Keep pushing foot into hand and lifting up. And slowly releasing down, coming back to neutral. From here, knees behind hips, keep them together and grounded. Exhale, tip your hips over to one side. And through center and over to the other side. And we'll take that on the other side now. So left leg comes behind you, tuck the toes, push into that heel and push into the hands to get that lovely sensation down the back of the leg. I say lovely, you might not like it. And again, a couple of times, rocking forwards as you push off the toes and back. And we'll meet back in center. From here, we're going to take the foot flat, pivot on the knee, bring that foot behind you, and then lift up the left arm. Push your hips forwards to expand the front of the body and really find that lovely opening across the chest and down the midline here. One more breath here. See if you can find any more space between the two shoulder blades. And exhale down again, pivoting that knee back into center. Flatten the, not flatten at all. Bring the leg out from behind you to knee level at the front. So it's just out to the side. And then we'll come into our little twisty sequence again. So from here, toes pointing forwards, foot flat, reaching your right arm up. Exhale, diving under, reach as far as you can, bending the left elbow a touch. Inhale back up. And exhale under. Inhale. Exhale. Twice more in your own breath time. Keep moving. And we'll meet back in center. Hand comes down. From here, again, shuffling this left leg out, creating a little more sensation between the legs, and then maybe creeping the hands forwards a touch, maybe coming down onto your forearms. Breathing here, keep the shoulders relaxed if you can. Making sure this is a nice controlled place. You're not struggling or lingering on any edges here that are very precarious and uncomfortable. And slowly again, rising back up, bring the leg back in and behind you. Taking our little bind again, bringing that left leg up, bending the knee, and then maybe catching the foot with the right hand, pushing foot into hand, lifting high and opening into that right shoulder. So finding your breath, connecting to your core and finding stability. And release. Coming into our hip sways again, knees slightly behind the hips, together and staying grounded. Hips over to one side. Linger here for a moment, feeling into that outer hip, stretching into the piriformis, the glutes, and through center over to the other side. And through center, sinking back to child's pose, keeping the knees together, maybe tenting your hands, pressing into the fingertips. Head is down, take a couple of breaths here, breathing down the line and length of the spine. From child's pose, we're going to lift up just a little to tuck the toes and then walk the hands back to come into Malasana squat pose, okay? You can shuffle your feet a little wider apart if you like. Ideally, heels are grounding, but it's totally fine if they're not. Mine lift off a little bit. And then taking your hands together into Anjali Mudra in front of the heart, pressing the palms, elbows pushing knees away and knees back into elbows to find that activity. Breathing here. Shoulders back, heart high. Hips are magnetizing down to the mat. Visualize your tailbone trying to anchor down. And release the hands, square your feet so they're parallel and come into a slightly wider legged forward fold, swaying gently from side to side. You can grab a hold of opposite elbows if you like and just ragdoll here. Release your shoulders, let your head be pendulous. And releasing the hands, keep your knees nice and soft, keep the body soft, and then roll up to stand very slowly. Take your sweet time to get there. Once you get to the top, establishing your footing, rocking forwards and backwards a few times. Just take a moment to breathe. Observe the breath. We'll do a couple of half sun salutations with some variations. So grounding into the feet, inhale, reaching the arms up, and then exhale, folding forwards. Halfway lift, inhale, hands to shins if you like, or stay on fingertips, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Ground through the feet, rising all the way back up, releasing the left arm down only, reaching overhead with the right, kicking the hips out to the right. On your next inhale, reach up. And exhale over to the right side. And reaching back up. Exhale, fold, second round. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rounding through feet, rise all the way. This time, releasing the arms behind you, nice wide circle, and placing the hands onto the lower back. So just about here. So you can have your fingertips pointing down, but ideally they'd be pointing up the way if possible. Heels of the hands nestling down, thus squeezing the shoulders and elbows, finding that lovely heart lift. Pushing the hips down and forwards, find your back bend. And release, reach the arms back up, third round, exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rounding, rise up. Again, side bending, exhale, left arm down, reach overhead. Inhale up, exhale, over to the right. And rise up. One more time. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rising all the way back up. Wide circle with the arms. Hands come down behind you. Again, taking our little back bend here. Fingertips ideally pointing up. Squeeze the shoulders, lift the heart, pushing the hips down and forwards. And release. Reach the arms back up. Let's make our way back down to the mat. Exhale, fold. Softening into the knees, let's walk our way forwards into downward facing dog. Nice and controlled, no jerky movements. And then keeping your knees nice and bent, sink the chest to the thighs as much as you can. Lifting the hips high, spread the fingers wide and push the mat away. Really feel the shoulders moving away from the ears, lots of space around the neck. And then gently start to walk out your dog, straightening gently, gently into one leg and then the other. Don't do this too fast. Don't pedal like crazy. You might injure something here. So really taking your time and moving slowly. It's still morning after all. When you're done with a couple of rounds of walking your dog, bringing the feet together and walking them in slightly towards the face so that the heels can be a little bit more close to the mat. And then inhale, reaching the right leg up behind you for three-legged dog. Make sure you're not opening the hip or twisting the body. Roll that thigh in the way to find a lovely square hip. As you exhale, bring your knee to your chest, ripple forwards. Knee is nice and high towards the chest. Inhale, reach it back up. And exhale again, bring it to your chest. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, knee to chest. Reaching the leg back up, bending into the knees, stacking the hips, lift the knee high up to the ceiling. If you look underneath your left armpit, you might be able to see your toes. Try to keep your left heel anchoring down. And straighten back into that leg. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Set the foot down in between the hands, wriggle the back foot back, and then drop the knee down. So we've got this angle in the back thigh rather than directly underneath the hip. From here, coming onto your thigh, so both hands onto your thigh, we're just going to push the thigh forwards as we sink the hips. So literally pushing forwards, relax the shoulders as much as you can, and find a little bit more sinking here. Long, nourishing breaths. Releasing the left hand down only, coming into easy twist, reaching the right arm up. Tuck your toes and lift your knee if you wish. Squeeze your knee to your shoulder and find that lovely twisting sensation as you roll the heart up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hand comes down. From here, stepping back to plank. And then dropping the knees down with control, elbows stay in, lower all the way down. Baby Cobra, 1 of 3. Pull forward, squeeze the legs, squeeze the shoulders, lift the heart, and maybe lift the arms off. So lifting up by the power of your lower back muscles, squeezing that core. And exhale, come down, take a moment's rest. We'll take that twice more. You have the option to come higher. So again, baby cobra, if you like, staying here, or keep pulling forwards and find a medium-sized cobra. Shoulders back, you shouldn't be able to see them at your peripheral vision here. And exhale down. One final round. Gently pulling forwards, baby cobra, medium cobra, or full cobra. Make sure you're still pulling rather than pushing, okay? So making space in the lower back rather than jamming anything. And exhale down. From here, let's make our way to child's pose just briefly. Sinking back again, tent your hands if you wish, or just keep the palms down. And rise up to downward facing dog when you're ready. Walking the feet in, feet together, heels heavy like one big heel. Left leg rises. Inhale again, keeping the hips nice and square. It's so easy to open the hips here and kind of swing the leg back over to the right, but try to keep it in the midline, lifting as high as you can. You can point or flex the toes, it's up to you, and keep the chest sinking to the thigh. On your next exhale, knee comes to chest, ripple forwards. Inhale back up. Exhale forwards. And inhale up. Last time. From here, lift the leg high, bend the knee, and then stack your hips. So left hip is now stacking on top of right. If you look underneath your right armpit, you might be able to see your toes. And again, straighten back into that leg. Exhale, knee to chest, set the foot down, and then wiggle the back foot back and drop the knee down. From here, coming back up into our low lunge with our hands on our thigh. Again, pushing forwards as we sink down, really get deep into this hip flexor here. Keep the core controlled, keep squeezing to the midline, shoulders back. And again, releasing right hand down only, left arm up, easy twist. You can again tuck the toes and lift the knee off the mat. Sinking the hips down, nice and spacious between the shoulders, reaching your active fingers up. And exhale, hand comes down. This time we'll step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Bend your knees, grab a hold of your hands behind you, squeeze the arms, shoulders, and bring the arms up overhead. Try to keep the heels of the hands touching. If it's too much, grab a hold of your forearms behind you instead. Have a good little wriggle out here. Releasing into the shoulders, knees are nice and soft, sway from side to side. And releasing the arms, grounding into the feet. Inhale, rise up. And exhale back to Samasthiti. We'll take a little bit of IT band release from here. So feet come together. We're going to step the left foot over the right. So we've got parallel feet. Doesn't matter if that left foot is way ahead of the right. That's fine as long as both legs are straight and can stay straight and the feet can stay grounded. Okay. Reach up the arms, grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand, and then gently pull over to that right side. Make sure the knees are straight. And rise back up, releasing the clasp of the wrist, and exhale, fold. You might find that your blocks come in handy here if you have them, maybe here for your hands, or maybe you come onto fingertips, or maybe you keep your hands on your shin. Try to keep the heart long, shoulders back, and fold forwards as deeply as you can with straight legs. Again, using bricks, maybe keeping the right hand down, lift the left arm up for a twist. Keep your heart reaching forwards. Exhale down, switch sides. Right arm rises. And exhale down. One more time each side. Exhale. Last round. Exhale. Halfway lift from here. Nice flat back. Recalibrate. And exhale, fold. Grounding through the feet, rising all the way back up. And release back to Samasthiti. Give your legs a shake. Second side. Right leg steps over left. Again, nice parallel feet pointing forwards. Legs are straight. Okay. Inhale, rise up. We're going to clasp the right wrist this time. Reach up and over to the left side. And rise back up, releasing the clasp. Exhale, fold. From here, Again, keeping your left hand down first, reach the right arm up. Heart reaching to the front of the room, nice and long, shoulders spread wide. Exhale down, second side, left arm rises. Exhale down, one more time each side. Move with your own breath time, holding for a breath. Meeting back in center, coming into our halfway lift. Inhale, flatten the back. And exhale, fold. Rounding through the feet, rise all the way. And exhale back to center. Samastiti. Take a moment to shake out the legs. My ever-traveling mat. From here, reaching the arms up again. Exhale, folding forwards. Stepping your right leg back. Dropping the knee down. And again, rising up to your hands onto your thigh. We're going to grab a hold of that back foot and rest our forearm or our hand on that thigh. So just bringing the heel up off the mat towards the buttocks, and then maybe reaching back with that same hand, so the right hand, and drawing it close to you. If your heel is touching your buttocks, point your tailbone forwards and it probably won't touch anymore. So we're really lengthening the back here, pulling the tailbone forwards to that front heel, and then you should get a lot more sensation here at the front of the leg. So really finding that angle, nice neutral pelvis, tailbone, slightly pointing forwards. Try to keep your shoulders square to the front of the room. Long, steady breaths. And then exhale, releasing. We're going to come down, framing our foot. We're going to reach back for that same foot with the left hand. So catching the foot behind us, plant the hand and maybe let that knee fall out as we draw the foot in, okay? So sinking the hips down. Breathing here, shoulders can be slightly off center, that's fine. And releasing, hands come back down. Stepping back to plank. Your choice, if you'd like to lower the knees first, we're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Baby Cobra, this time we'll do 3 rounds with legs as an option. So Baby Cobra, pull forwards and up, maybe lift the legs, heels come towards the buttocks, maybe float the hands, okay? And exhale down. 2 more rounds, again, incrementally rising higher if you wish. Baby Cobra, maybe a little higher. Pull your heart forwards and roll the shoulders back more. And exhale down. 1 more round, your choice. Baby Cobra, medium Cobra, or coming up to full Cobra. And exhale down. Again, coming into child's pose briefly. Sinking down, maybe tent your hands, take a sigh at the mouth anytime you wish. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Right foot steps between the hands, dropping the back knee down. Again, we're going to rise up to hands on thigh. Again, just playing with bringing that heel, oops, a bit wobbly this side, bringing that heel towards the buttocks, and then reaching back with the left hand to catch your foot, draw it close, but also at the same time point your tailbone forwards. So really finding that posterior tilt, pulling the tailbone forwards and finding that lovely stretch down the front of the hip flexor. And control the release. Hands come down again. We're going to reach back with the right hand this time and catch the foot. And maybe let that knee drop out to the side. Okay. Long, steady breaths. Trying to keep the bandhas controlled. Lots of space around the neck. And again with control, releasing, coming back into our lunge. We're going to step forwards to the top of the mat for a forward fold. Grounding into the feet, rise up, hook your thumbs and add an optional back bend, lifting up the heart, push the hips forwards. And exhale, coming back down, second side. Left leg steps. Drop the knee and then heel toe the right foot over to the edge of the mat on the left side and drop your knee down for half pigeon. Make sure this knee is wider than your hips. It's diagonal, not pointing forwards, okay? Then tuck the toes and move yourself off your kneecap. Make sure that leg behind you is straight against the edges of the mat, pointing directly behind you, not over to some side, okay? Flex the toes at the front, lift your heart, use a brick underneath your right hip if you should need to for some support so you're not rolling from side to side. And then find that lovely heart opener and then exhale slowly coming down. This might be onto the flat hands. It might be onto your forearms. It might be all the way down. It's entirely up to you. My favorite way to do this when I'm coming all the way down, especially in a yin practice, is over a bolster. So you can lie your chest onto a bolster and we'll just stay for another couple of breaths. And slowly making our way back up, coming onto your fingertips, lift the heart. And plant the hands. From here, we're going to slide the left leg forwards and then just bring that leg back into a tabletop shape and then come into downward facing dog. Have a little wriggles here, little wriggles, a little wriggle, just easing into the hips. And when you're ready, second side, left foot steps between the hands, dropping that back knee down. Heel toeing the foot over to the right side of the mat, dropping the knee down by the left wrist. Again, tuck the toes, move the leg back, and find that lovely activity in the hips. Keep this foot active, knee is wider than your hips, leg is straight out behind you. Coming onto your fingertips once more, using any blocks that you need to if you did on the other side, and then slowly make your way down into your half pigeon. So wherever that might be, you might find that this side is very different to the previous side, and that is fine. So wherever you are, honor your body, move with control, and don't try to force anything just because it was a certain way on the other side. And slowly, slowly make your way back up. Rise back onto the fingertips, lift the heart. And then plant the hands, stepping, or rather pulling the right leg forwards a little, bringing the left leg back and back into downward facing dog. Take a moment here, bring the feet together, allow the heels to sink down, getting that bit of stretch down the hamstrings, sink your chest to your thighs. And then drop the knees down onto the mat. Coming into melting heart, keep the knees under the hips, walk the hands forwards, and then sink your chest. We're not bending the elbows and setting them down. We're sinking the chest pretty much in between the arms here. Bringing your forehead or your chin down, depending on your range of movement, and breathe. Slowly rise up, coming into cat. Hands under shoulders, dome the upper back, navel to spine, chin to chest, and just rock a little bit from side to side, maybe forwards and backwards. Coming into cow, drop the belly, lift the heart, shoulders back, exhale again, coming into cat. Take that, a couple more rounds. Move with your own breath. And finishing the round you're on, we're going to come to sit on our heels, but with the toes tucked. So tuck your toes, and then make sure that every single toe is tucked under. Again, tailbone points down rather than behind us. Shoulders back, hands on thighs. Breathing here, just focusing on the breath for a moment. Try to get all of your weight supported on your heels. You might feel a sensation of burning down the soles of the feet, maybe even down the underside of the toes. Or just unsticking, ungluing all the connective tissues to get it nice and mobilized, keeping it nice and healthy. This isn't something we do day-to-day life, so this is a really good way to keep the feet nice and healthy, nice and mobile and unstuck. Take 2 more breaths here if you can. And then releasing, walk the hands forwards, coming into tabletop and bash out the feet a few times. Next up, we'll come into our final posture or set of postures, same posture but with leg variation. You'll need 1 break. So coming to your back, lying down, bring your heels nice and close to your sitting bones. So coming into bridge prep, we'll do a couple of rolling bridges to start with, just to ease into the spine a bit and just get into this shape a bit more comfortably. So palms beside you, heels nice and close to your sit bones. Maybe you can graze the back of the heel with the middle finger. If you look either side, you should be able to see heel and not toes, okay? So toes in. Point your tailbone, press into the feet and lift the hips up just a little. And then exhale, rolling down, keep the tailbone lifted. Again, inhale, lift up. Exhale, rolling down. 3 more times. Inhale up, maybe a little higher with each round. Make sure you can breathe. Exhale down. Twice more. And we'll meet back in bridge prep. Grab hold of your brick, lift the hips, and slide that brick underneath your lower back. Make sure it's not on your bottom, it's not under your spine. Finding that lovely support. Just staying here for a moment. Let the shoulders separate a bit, maybe even moving them up the mat away from the hips, and you'll find a little more length in the spine. Taking a couple more breaths here. Just so you know, this is an option to stay if the next one doesn't work for you. So the next one, whilst it feels very subtle for a lot of people, it can be quite intense. So if it does feel a bit intense for you, you can just come back here or take the single leg option as well, okay? So you may wish to move the brick forwards just a half inch because it will feel like we're rolling off the edge of the brick once we straighten our legs. So slowly releasing the left leg out in front of you and then just flopping it out to the side like a Shavasana leg. And then if that feels okay for you, taking the right leg out as well and just letting it flop out. And then you'll see what I mean about the rolling off the edge of the brick. And you may find that you want to come back up and just adjust it a little bit more before you come back down. Again, shuffle the shoulders away and find that lovely length. Palms facing up beside you, maybe a little wider, maybe even a cactus shape, or reaching all the way up and overhead to get that full stretch. If it's too much with double legs, bend back into one leg, take a few breaths, and I'll tell you when to change sides. Okay? Relaxing the jaw, shoulders be heavy and supported, face be soft, your ankles, your heels heavy on the mat. Once again, breathing right down to the sitting bones. And let your heart lift with each breath also. If you're doing single legs, switching, bringing the straight leg in and straightening the bent leg. Connect to your breath, let the breath slow down. Long, smooth breaths, and then slowly starting to bring the leg or legs back in, finding our bridge prep pose one more time, arms down by your side. Pressing into the feet, lift the hips up and remove your brick. Slowly lowering all the way back down. Take the legs out in front of you, take a moment to settle. When you're ready, bring your knees to your chest, give yourself a squeeze, and gently roll from side to side. You're very welcome to bring the knees wide to the armpits to get a little deeper into the hips here as well. Make sure the hips are nice and passive and relaxed, as are the shoulders, so we're not lifting up like this, keeping it nice and soft. Again, long, steady exhalations. And taking any final movements that you would like to take before Shavasana. Finding your Shavasana when you're ready. Taking a bolster, if you have one, underneath your knees. Cover yourself with a blanket if you like. Allow shoulders to be nice and heavy. Point your tailbone forwards and draw your chin a little bit towards your chest. Nice long spine. Take a deep breath. Hold that breath in. And exhale through the mouth with a sigh. Feel free to repeat that one more time if you would like to. Coming into your Shavasana. yourself to be supported, passive, soft, heavy. I'm going to share with you today a Lakota Prayer, which is a Native American tribe. Wakantanka, great mystery. Teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the senses of my body, the blessings of my spirit. Teach me to trust these things so that I may enter my sacred space and love beyond the fear, and thus walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun. You are, as ever, welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need to. Take from it all that you need today. If you're ready to start to move again, breathing slightly deeper once more. Exhale fully. Rolling head from side to side, expanding into fingers and toes. Maybe squeezing the fingers and toes in, making some ankle and wrist circles. Taking arms up and overhead if you wish, reaching, squeezing the legs. And maybe one more time, knees to chest. Give yourself a squeeze and a roll from side to side, a well-deserved hug. Eventually, roll yourself over to one side, left or right, whichever one speaks to you today. Take a breath there in softness, and stillness, and surrender. And then rise up to a seat. Hands can rest on your knees, palms down, or palms facing up, or if you prefer, in your lap, cupping one another. Take a moment just to observe your body, your energy, your breath, the mind. Hands come into Anjali Mudra in front of the heart, bowing our heads down to our fingertips, bowing down to the divine light present within us all. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. I hope you enjoyed our practice.